The Uniform Civil Code. What is it all about? The Uniform Civil Code is a common code which is applicable to all the communities irrespective of their religion, race, caste, creed, etc., and is nowadays posing as one of the biggest challenges for a country like India. If implemented in its letter and spirit, then these three words are sufficient enough to divide India politically, religiously, and socially. It might be the reason due to which the framers of a constitution decided to include the Uniform Civil Code in the directive principles of state policy and not in fundamental rights. Now, under Constitution, Article 44 provides that the state shall endeavour to secure for its citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. A uniform civil code means that all the citizens of India have to follow the same laws whether they are Hindus or Muslims or Christians or Sikhs. A uniform civil code does not mean that it will limit the freedom of people to follow their religion. It will help in improving the condition of women in India. It will also help in reducing the vote bank politics that most political parties indulge in during every election. In India, Muslims, Christians, Hindus and Parsis have their respective personal laws. This system of diverse personal laws has enjoyed state protection from the earliest years of the post-constitutional era. In 1954, Parliament had enacted a secular matrimonial law called the Special Marriage Act, but it was soon followed by a separate Hindu Marriage Act. The Supreme Court of India recently sought the review of the government on implementing the Uniform Civil Code. The government has said it is necessary for national integration, but any decision to execute it can be taken only after wider consultations with various personal law boards and other stakeholders. It is also being said that it is not possible or practicable to reconcile divergent laws and formulate a uniform or common code acceptable to all the communities. The main argument of those who speak in favor of such a code is that it has the potential to unite India. A comparative study of the personal laws of Hindus, Muslims and other minorities will reveal the sheer diversities of these laws. It is coupled with a dogmatic zeal amounting to fundamentalism, and therefore it cannot permit uniformity of any sort. One important and fundamental aspect to the Uniform Civil Code is understanding the concept of marriage and succession or property, among other things. Article 44 of the Constitution of India states that the state shall endeavour to secure the citizen a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. However, these are just directive principles and are not enforceable in any court of law under Article 37 of the Constitution, though these can be regarded as the fundamentals of governance. The Constitution itself is unclear of its stand about the implementation of the Uniform Civil Code. Therefore, there is no sanction by the Constitution to make it mandatory. The Supreme Court itself, on several instances, has directed the government to realize the directive principle enshrined in the Constitution with regard to the Uniform Civil Code. In fact, it can be said that the country has suffered the lack of a Uniform Civil Code for about a century. It is high time that India had a uniform law dealing with marriage, divorce, succession, inheritance and maintenance. Even the Western countries like Italy and France have enforced it, but the scenario in India is a lot more complex. India has a strong and long history of personal laws, and it cannot be given up so easily. A broad consensus must be drawn to facilitate such a landmark step. This consensus first has to be worked out among different communities in India's religious, social, political, and most importantly, judicial history.